I'm not your pet. In the far edge of the galaxy, on a dusty space station called Zarnux 12, Captain Riker Thorne stood in the middle of a noisy alien market. He didn't come here to shop. He just needed fuel and coffee. Strong coffee. The kind that could wake up a dead star. But instead, something strange happened. A huge alien with 6 eyes and way too many teeth yelled from a stage. Sold! To the human male with the confused face, Riker blinked. Wait, what? Sold what? Then a small figure was pushed toward him. She had silver skin, glowing violet eyes, and a long, smooth tail. Her clothes were torn, but her expression? Full of fire. She stomped up to Riker, got in his face, and said in a cold, sharp voice, I'm not your pet. Riker raised both hands. Good. I don't want a pet. I came here for coffee. She narrowed her eyes. Then tell them to let me go. The alien seller behind her chuckled. Sorry, sale is final. She was bred in the labs of Arcanus Prime. Very rare. Half-human DNA. Strong mind. Stronger instincts. I don't care if she's made of stardust and moonlight, Riker said. I didn't buy anything. But the market guards were already walking away. The auction was over. Paperwork was stamped. His silver girl looked up at Riker, arms crossed. Congratulations. You're now a proud owner of a ticking time bomb. Riker sighed and scratched his beard. You got a name, Bomb? I don't share my name with strangers. Cool. I'm Captain Stranger, and you're now on my ship. Back on the ship, his ship, the Crimson Nova, wasn't fancy. It had dense, weird smells and a coffee machine that hissed like a snake. But it flew. The girl sat in the corner of the main deck, silent and watching. Riker handed her a blanket and a protein bar. I'm not keeping you, he said. Just until we reach the next station. She took the blanket, but ignored the food. What's your name? He asked again. She looked away. You can call me Era. Okay, Era. Rule number 1, no biting the pilot. Rule 2, no weird. Alien magic unless it fixes the coffee machine. She smirked. You're not funny. I've heard that before. Something was off. Later that night, Riker found her sitting in the pilot chair, staring at the console. You touch that, and we both end up flying into a sun. I'm not touching, she said softly. It's touching me. Before Riker could ask what she meant, the console screen lit up. Not just the usual lights, every system powered up. Engines HUMMED. Shields activated. Auto defense mode. On. Riker's jaw dropped. I didn't press anything. Era's hand was resting on the console. Her eyes glowed brighter. Your ship likes me, she said. Great. My ship likes someone more than me. That's new. The first surprise, a loud beep, broke the silence. A message flashed on screen. Nova protocol activated, user identified. Era NOVA 6, welcome back. Riker stepped back. What? What is Nova protocol? Era stared at the screen. Her hands were shaking. I don't know, she whispered, but I think I was built for it. Before Riker could say anything else, alarms blared. Enemy ship detected. On the radar, a sleek black cruiser was heading toward them. No ID. No signal. They weren't here to chat. Hold tight, Riker said, running to the pilot seat. We're taking off. I can help, Era said. You already helped by turning my ship into a glow stick. I can fly it better than you, she said calmly. Let me. Riker hesitated, and then moved aside. She sat, touched the console, and the ship responded instantly. Like it was made for her. The Crimson Nova shot into hyperspace faster than Riker had ever seen. His heart was racing, not from the speed, but from her. The quiet after the storm, when the star stopped spinning and the enemy was gone. Riker looked at her. You sure you're not a pet? He asked half joking. She looked at him with a strange expression. Then, slowly, she walked over and sat in his lap. Just like that. Riker froze. "I'm not your pet," she said softly again. "But I'm also not safe alone." Then she leaned, her head on his chest, closed her eyes, and purred like a cat. The ship that shouldn't fly. The stars weren't supposed to move like that. But under Era's hands, the Crimson Nova didn't just fly. It danced. Captain Riker gripped the back of the co-pilot chair, trying not to look impressed. He was failing. "I've flown this ship for 5 years," he said, watching the controls move like magic. She never moved like this. Era didn't answer. Her silver fingers slid across the panel like she was playing an instrument. The ship responded faster than it ever had. Smooth, sharp, perfect. Something about it made Riker feel cold. "This is not normal," he muttered. A change in the ship after they escaped the unknown black cruiser. Riker finally took back the controls. Era sat beside him, quiet, her violet eyes stared into space, but her mind was clearly somewhere else. The ship suddenly beeped again. A message blinked. "System upgrade complete. Welcome, Nova-class pilot." Riker stared at the screen. What the hell is a Nova-class pilot? He asked. Era didn't answer. Instead, she said something that made the hair on his neck stand up. "This ship was waiting for me." "What does that mean?" Riker asked. She looked at him. "I don't know. I just feel it. Like the ship is alive, and it knows me." Riker muttered, "Great, haunted spaceship. That's new." Something stranger than aliens later, Riker checked the ship's logs. The Crimson Nova had rewritten itself. New systems, faster engines, better shields, things Riker had never installed. Stuff that shouldn't even exist on this class of ship. Either we're hacked, Riker said, or you're secretly a spaceship mechanic genius. Era didn't smile. "I'm not a hacker," she said softly. "But something inside me remembers this." "Remembers?" "I don't know how, but I've been here before. Not on this ship, somewhere like it, long ago." Riker frowned. "You're what, 17? She looked him dead in the eye. "I'm 42. The first attack, just as Riker was about to ask more, the ship's alarms screamed. Incoming fire. 3 ships appeared behind them, same design as the black one from before. Silent. No signals. No warnings. Why do these guys never send polite messages? Riker yelled. Era was already in the seat, hands glowing faintly. The Crimson Nova didn't wait. It turned by itself, dodged 2 missiles. Before Riker could even react, he was being outpiloted by his own ship. Era's eyes went white. She spoke a single word. Activate. A hidden weapon system Riker had never seen before opened under the ship's wings. What is that? He shouted. The ship fired one burst of blue light. One of the enemy ships exploded into pieces. Power she can't control. But then something changed. Era's nose began to bleed. Her hands shook. Sparks jumped off the console. She was losing control. Era! Stop! You're overloading the ship. She didn't answer. The lights flickered. The ship's AI began to shut down. Something was fighting back inside her. Riker grabbed her shoulders and pulled her away from the panel. She collapsed in his arms, breathing hard. I didn't mean to, she whispered. It just took over. What took over? I don't. No. The tag on her collar after things calmed down. Riker examined the tag around her neck. It was thin, metal, nearly invisible. He scanned it. The results froze his blood. Classified. Level 9 clearance required. Subject, NOVA-6 experimental unit function. Interface, control. Destruction? Destruction? He read out loud. Era was curled up in the co-pilot seat, shivering. Don't want to hurt anyone, she said, but I'm made to. Riker sat beside her. You don't have to be what they made you. She looked up at him, eyes full of guilt. But what if I can't stop it next time? The last message just when Riker thought they had a moment of peace. A red alert flashed. Incoming signal, he tapped it open. A cold, robotic voice said, "To the captain of the stolen ship. You are carrying dangerous property. Return the unit, or be destroyed. You have 12 hours. Then it cut out. Riker looked at Era. She was already standing. "I'm not property," she said, her voice trembling with rage. "And I'm done running. Project Nova. She's not alone." Space was quiet again, not too quiet. Captain Riker didn't trust silence anymore. Not after everything Era had done, or what had been done to her. She sat alone in the engine room, staring at a piece of broken metal she'd bent with her bare hands. During the last attack, he could still hear her words in his head. "I was made to destroy." Digging for truth, Riker paced the bridge, sipping coffee that tasted like motor oil. He connected the collar tag to his old war laptop and ran a deep scan. It cracked open a file hidden under layers of alien code. What he saw made his stomach twist. Project Nova status: terminated survivors. Unknown units created, 7 purpose: universal interface control and bioweapon deployment lead scientist, Dr. Kellen Vorrak, lab location. Redacted notes. Subject 6 shows emotional deviation. Dangerous. Emotional deviation? Riker scoffed. Yeah, she cuddles and kills. Definitely a deviation. Era's. Dreamed that night. Era had a dream. She was floating in water-cold, black, endless. A voice whispered in her mind, "Unit 4 is failing. Unit 2 is silent. Nova 3 has been captured." Then ... a flicker of red eyes in the dark. A name: Nova-7. Era woke up sweating. "I'm not the only one," she whispered. She ran to the bridge. "Riker, they're still out there. The others. The Novas." Riker didn't look surprised. "I figured. You don't make one super weapon. You make a collection." "But they're in pain," she said. "I can feel them, like echoes in my mind. Can you track them?" She nodded. "One of them ... is close, hurting." Finding the signal. Era tapped into the ship systems, her fingers glowing faintly. Again, a signal lit up on the map weak, hidden, but pulsing like a heartbeat. "Outpost 77, she said. "Abandoned mining colony. That's where they're keeping him." Riker raised an eyebrow. "Him? Nova 2, she said. "He was the youngest. He didn't talk much. But he was powerful. Too powerful. Define. Too powerful." She looked at Riker. "He once destroyed a moon. By accident." Riker blinked. "Right, cool. Let's go pick him up then." The outpost 77 floated like a ghost in the dark. No lights. No life. But the signal was strong here. Inside, it smelled of rust, oil, and secrets. They moved through empty halls. Old security droids rusted in place. Era walked like she knew the path, even though she swore she didn't remember. Then they found it. Metal cell. Cold, cracked. And inside, sitting cross-legged on the floor, was a boy. Maybe 16. Pale blue skin. Black hair. Glowing red marks under his eyes. He looked up slowly. Era whispered, "Nova-2... It's me." He didn't speak. Just stared. Riker stepped closer too. Close. The boy's eyes flashed red dot, and Riker was thrown across the hallway by pure telekinetic force. Unstable. "He doesn't remember who he is," Era said, helping Riker up. Could have said that before. "I flew into a wall. He's not evil. He's broken." She walked into the cell, slowly, gently. She sat beside him. "Do you know your name?" she asked. He didn't respond. Then he pointed at his chest and whispered, "0. Nova 2, she corrected. Your name was Eli. You're not Zero. But his eyes stayed empty. Suddenly, alarms blared. Ships incoming. Riker ran to the comms. They followed us again. Era turned to Eli. We need you. Please, help us. Eli looked at her. Then stood. His red markings glowed like fire. Power unleashed outside. 6 enemy ships surrounded the outpost. They didn't wait. They opened fire. But before Riker could even start the engines, the air VIBRA TD. Eli floated into the air. Arms spread wide. A shockwave blasted from the station, not from weapons, but from his body. All 6 ships were thrown. Backspinning, broken, shattered. He landed softly. Riker stared, stunned. So ... moon-destroying powers confirmed. But Eli's nose was bleeding. His knees buckled. Era caught him. He's unstable, she said. They kept him in that cell for years. He doesn't know who he is. The final message back on the Crimson Nova. Riker patched into the enemy comms, hoping to find answers. He intercepted a live message. A hooded alien stood on the screen, his voice cold and metallic. 2 Nova units located. 3 remain. You're running out of time, Captain. Surrender the assets, or we will burn every planet you land on. Era stared at the screen, then whispered, I know that voice. Who is it? Riker asked. She didn't blink. Dr. Vorrak, the man who made me. We found another. The Crimson Nova drifted through deep space silent, fast and hunted. Riker sat alone in the cockpit, eyes fixed on the stars. Behind him, 2 super weapons were sleeping. 1, Era, mysterious, powerful, half-human. The other, Eli, known as Nova 2, unstable, quiet, deadly. They weren't cargo. They weren't passengers. They were ticking bombs. And Riker was flying straight into trouble. The signal. Era woke with a jolt. I felt it again, she said. Another Nova. She's alive. She? Riker asked. She was part of my training group. Nova 4. Real name. Lyra. She was the strongest. The only one who could beat me. Location? Era pointed to the map. Planet Kale 5. Desert world. Used to be a science colony. Abandoned after a war. Riker frowned. Let me guess now, crawling with mercenaries, traps, and terrible life choices? Era smirked. You'll fit right in. Desert of Secret Scale 5 was not friendly. Winds blew red sand like knives. The ruins of old research labs were buried. Rusted, forgotten. Something had happened here. Something dark. Eli walked beside Era, silent as always. But his eyes moved constantly, like he could hear things others couldn't. I don't like this place, Riker said. Even the shadows. Look scared. Era stopped suddenly. She's close. They entered a broken lab. And there, in a sealed cryo chamber, was a girl floating inside blue mist. Wires in her spine, a scar over one eye. Calm but powerful. Era whispered. Lyra. Reawakening Era reached for the controls, but the chamber opened by itself. Steam. Hissed. The girl's eyes blinked open. One eye blue. One eye glowing gold. She stepped out barefoot, looked at Era. Then punched her square in the jaw. Sisters. And enemies. Riker ran to stop her, but Era held up a hand. It's okay, she said, rubbing her jaw. That's just how she says hello. Lyra crossed her arms. You left us. I didn't know what they were doing, Era replied. You always knew, Lyra hissed, but you survived. The rest of us didn't. Eli stepped forward. Lyra stared at him, then hugged him without a word. I thought you were dead, she whispered. I was, Eli replied quietly. But now I'm something else. Ambushed before the reunion could get warm and fuzzy, the floor exploded beneath them. Mercenaries poured in heavily armed, faceless, fast. They weren't here to kill. They were here to capture. A voice came from above, on a hovering drone. "Thank you for finding our lost Nova units. We'll take them from here," Era growled. Vorrak, the battle began. Riker shot 2 mercs in the knee. Eli tossed one into a wall with his mind. Era lit up like a star, but it was Lyra who shocked everyone. She opened her mouth and screamed a sonic blast that shattered glass. Metal, bone. Everyone hit the ground. Asterisk. The twist when Riker woke up. The battle was over. The mercs were gone. Era. And Eli stood nearby, bruised but alive. But Lyra was gone. "She's gone?" Riker asked. Era's face was pale. "No. She's not gone." She pointed to a blinking dot on the screen. A tracker planted in Eli's arm. She took it. She let them capture her. "Why?" Riker asked. Era stared at the blinking signal, her voice shaky. "Because she's not just another Nova anymore." "She's what then?" "She's working with them." Asterisk. In the shadows back on the enemy ship, Lyra stood in a cold lab. Dr. Vorrak stepped forward, clapping slowly. "Well, done," he said. 3 units located, as promised. Lyra's golden eye flickered. "I want your guarantee." "You'll have it," Vorrak replied. "Once the final Nova is in our hands." He handed her a glowing data chip. "Find the last one, and destroy anyone who stands in your way." Lyra nodded. But as she walked away, her fingers trembled, and deep down, a small voice whispered, "You're not a weapon. You're a girl, just like Era." Betrayal from within. Space felt colder now. After Lyra's betrayal, the crew of the Crimson Nova was tense, quiet, and broken in their own ways. Eli hadn't spoken in 2 days. Era hadn't slept in 3. Riker? He was watching them both, wondering if he'd made a huge mistake. A message from the past, an incoming signal, beeped on the comms. "Encrypted," Riker said. "But the ID?" "It's from Jax Carver." Era blinked. "Who's that?" "Old war buddy," Riker replied. "We flew together. He saved my life more than once." "And you trust him?" Riker smirked. "I don't trust anyone, but if anyone owes me a favor, it's Jax." He opened the message. A rough voice crackled through. "Riker, you're in trouble, I know. I can help. I've got a lead on Nova 5 and a safe place. Meet me at Vega 13. Era crossed her arms. "This feels like a trap." Riker sighed. "Yeah, but it also sounds like hope." Vega 13, the space station, orbited a dying blue star. Lights flickered, and the smell of old oil clung to the air. Jax stood there taller, older, with a cybernetic eye and a half-smile. "Still got that rust bucket ship?" he said. Riker grinned. "Still flying. Barely." They hugged. For a moment. It felt normal. Two normal. Secrets, and Shadow's Jocks poured drinks. Era didn't touch hers. Eli stared at his glass, like it might attack him. Jocks spoke low. "Nova 5 is being held on a planet called Drenix, in a prison under the ocean." Era's eyes narrowed. "How do you know that?" "I've been working on the inside." Riker stiffened. "Inside what?" Jocks met his eyes. Vorrak's network. "They..." Silence in the room was sharp. "But I'm not with them," Jocks added quickly. "I've been feeding them bad info, slowing them down. I stayed in to survive and to help guys like you." Eli whispered, "Liar." Everyone turned. Jocks laughed nervously. "Kid's got issues." Eli's eyes glowed faint red. "No, he's hiding something." The trap suddenly, doors burst open. Armed soldiers poured into the room. "Down." Riker shouted. Era lit up with energy, her body pulsing like a live wire. She grabbed Eli, who had already started to float his rage boiling. Jax held up a device. Sorry, Riker. Orders are orders. You snake! Riker yelled, diving behind cover. I told you I'd help, Jax said. I just didn't say how. Chaos unleashed. Eli screamed, not like a kid, like a storm. The floor cracked. Lights exploded. The air shook. Soldiers flew across the room, bones snapping. But Eli didn't stop. He COULDN single quotes T. His skin cracked with red light. His voice was deep, hollow. You tried to take me again. Era ran to him. Eli, stop. You're going to tear yourself apart. I don't want to be a monster. He cried, but it was too late. The collapsed station began to fall apart. Riker grabbed Jax, pinned him to a wall. You betrayed your own species for what? Jax spat blood. For survival. That's all this galaxy is anymore. Riker punched him once hard and left him behind. They escaped the station just as it broke in, half imploding into starlight. Asterisk, a terrible choice back on the Crimson Nova. Era sat by Eli's side. He was unconscious. His powers had nearly killed him. And everyone else. Riker walked in quiet. He'll wake up, Era said, but I don't know who he'll be. Riker looked tired. Jax wasn't the first friend to betray me, but he was the last. Era's eyes welled up. Do you still trust me? He hesitated, then nodded. I don't know what you are, Era, but I know what you're not. You're not one of them. She smiled faintly. Then the ship beeped again. Incoming signal. One word appeared on screen. Lyra. The last temptation. The screen showed her face calm. Cold, perfect. Hello, Era, she said. And Riker, of course. What do you want? Riker growled. To offer you peace, Lyra replied. Come to us willingly. Bring Nova 2. Help us. Vorrak isn't your enemy. Era clenched her fists. He built us like tools. No, Lyra said. He built us like gods. And we're about to take back the galaxy. The screen cut to black. Era whispered. What if she's right? Riker stared out into space, voice low. Then the galaxy's in a hell of a lot more trouble than we thought. The battle for the Novas. The Crimson Nova flew low across an ocean planet called Drenix. Beneath the waves, hidden in the dark, was Vorrak's deep-sea prisoner, place made to hold things too dangerous for the galaxy. Things like the last Nova unit. The final Nova Era stood on the bridge, her eyes locked on the glowing blue dot on the screen. Nova 5 is in there, she whispered. She's the youngest. A healer. A healer? Riker asked. Not a destroyer? Era nodded. Her name was Sial. She didn't want to fight, just fix the damage the rest of us caused. And Vorrak locked her up? Riker asked. She refused to follow orders, Era said softly. That made her dangerous. Riker's jaw clenched. Let's go get the one good person in this mess. Into the deep, the ship dove underwater, cutting through pressure and silence. Era, Riker, and Eli suited up in dive armor, loaded with power cells and underwater weapons. They entered through an old maintenance hatch. Inside, metal walls, dim lights, and a constant creak of pressure. The deeper they went, the heavier everything felt. It's too quiet, Riker whispered. Eli's eyes glowed faintly. We're not alone. The trap. They reached the central chamber. A large containment pod glowed behind glass walls. Inside it, a girl no older than 14, with glowing blue hair and a peaceful smile. Sial, Era whispered, eyes welling. Up, but the moment they tried to unlock the door, the lights went red. Alarm screamed. Water rushed through side tunnels. And from the shadows stepped Lyra. Flanked by armed cybernetic soldiers, she wore a black bodysuit and a gold cloak. Her golden eyes shined like a flame. You're too late, she said calmly. She belongs to us now. Era stepped forward. She's not yours. She is, Lyra replied, because she's scared. And scared people follow the strong. Sister versus sister without warning, Lyra attacked. The chamber erupted into chaos. Soldiers fired. Eli lifted a shield with his mind. Riker ducked and returned fire, shouting, "Why is everyone shooting in a tank?" Era and Lyra clashed in the center light against light. Energy against energy. Lyra moved with cold precision. Era fought with passion and pain. You don't get it. Lyra yelled. We were made to rule. No, Era shouted back. We were made to feel. That's why you hate me. Lyra struck Era down with a pulse wave. You still think love makes you strong, Lyra hissed. But it only makes you weak. Riker's choice. Riker ran for Sial's chamber, but the controls were locked. Behind him, a soldier aimed a railgun. Riker had 2 seconds to decide. He could dodge or protect the chamber. He dove. The bullet hit his shoulder hard, but the chamber remained intact. Sia opened her eyes. She saw him bleeding. She reached forward, and the glass cracked open on its own. A wave of healing light surged from her. Riker gasped, his pain fading. The bullet popped out of his arm like a bad memory. Sci-fi stepped forward. No more pain, she whispered. Era's fall. Meanwhile, Era was losing ground. Lyra slammed her against the wall. You were always soft, Lyra said, always dreaming. But look where it got you. Era trembled, sparks crackling around her, but this time, she didn't rise gently. She stood like a storm, eyes burning, hair floating, voice like thunder. I'm done running. She unleashed a blast of power, blinding, pure, and terrifying. The entire station shook. Even Eli looked afraid. Lyra fell, coughing. You can't control that. Era stepped closer. I don't have to control it. I just have to aim. Be it. The escape alarm screamed louder, now too loud. Eli shouted. The station is collapsing. Riker grabbed Era. We got what we came for. Let's go. Era looked down at Lyra, crushed, broken, defeated. She raised her hand. A small pulse. Could finish her. I can end it now, Era said. No, Riker said. Ending her means becoming her. Era hesitated. Then lowered her hand. And they ran. Back in the stars. Crimson Nova launched from the ocean, just as the entire facility exploded beneath the waves. Safe. Alive. Together. IA. Slept peacefully in the med bay. Eli sat silently, watching stars. Era stood at the window, fists clenched. She's still out there, she said. Riker nodded. So are Vorrak's forces. Era looked at him. And said the most terrifying thing yet. Then maybe it's time we stop running and fight back as gods. I choose you, not the stars. The galaxy held its breath. Arak's fleet was gathering hundreds of ships, orbiting a broken moon near the Ashline Rift. This was where the Novas were created. And now, it would become their battlefield. The Message A signal echoed through the system. To all Novas, come home. Accept what you were made for. Rise above the mortals who fear you, or be erased. Dr. Vorrak stared at the message. She didn't blink. She didn't speak. She just whispered one word. Enough. The last flight, the Crimson Nova, flew faster than ever before. On board, Riker, bleeding but determined. Eli, barely stable, but holding together. Sial, scared but strong. And Era no longer running. Her energy pulsed through the ship like a heartbeat. She was connected to everything now. Every wire, every thruster, every star. Era, Riker said, walking to her side. If we go in there, you might not come back. She looked at him. I was never supposed to live, she said. I was built to break. You're more than that, Riker said. You're someone He stopped. She smiled. I know, she said softly. That's why this matters. Enter the rift. They entered the rift. Waves of blue lightning cut across the sky. The fleet surrounded a floating station, a lab, glowing. Like a star, that's where Vorrak waited. That's where Lyra was. Hera turned to Cial. Stay on the ship. Protect Eli. Cial nodded. What about you? Hera stepped toward the door, her body glowing brighter than ever. I'm going to end this. Sister. Enemy. Mirror dot inside the lab. Lyra stood in the central core, a crown of gold circuits on her. Head. Hera, she said, smiling like a goddess. Welcome home. I'm not home, Hera replied. This place was always a cage. You don't have to fight me, Lyra said. We could rule. Together. You chose power. Lyra's eyes flared. And you chose a human. Riker stepped beside Hera, gun ready. She chose herself. You'll regret this, Lyra growled. Hera raised her hand. I already do. And the battle began. The final fight. Lyra unleashed waves of force. Lights shattered. Walls cracked. Gravity warped. Hera countered with pure light waves of memory. Pain, love, fear all wrapped into energy. Every blow between them shook the station. Riker tried to help, but the room rejected him. It was made for Novas only. They weren't fighting with fists. They were fighting with everything they were. And Hera was losing. The offer. Lyra pinned her to the ground. You can't win, she whispered. You're too human. Hera struggled. To arise. Good. Why? Because that means I still have a choice. She looked past Lyra to Riker, to Eli to Eli and then she let go. Ascension. Or love? A massive surge of energy exploded from Hera's body. Lyra was thrown back, her crown shattered. The lab started to collapse. Vorrak's voice echoed one last time over the speakers. Unit 6, initiate final protocol. Become the source. Take the system. For a moment, Hera hovered in the air. Asterisk the entire galaxy felt her presence. She could become anything. A weapon. A queen. A god. Riker reached out, voice raw. Hera. Come back. Choose you. Not them. Not power. Not the stars. Just you. And finally, she smiled. A tear rolled down her cheek, and she fell. Right into his arms. The station exploded, but the crimson Nova emerged, scorched, limping. But alive. SIA had pulled them out just in time. Lyra was gone. Vorrak's lab was dust. The Nova project was over. Riker sat with Hera in the medbay, holding her hand. She was weak, but smiling. You came back, he whispered. I always would. She replied, for you. Eli walked in. Are we free now? Hera looked out the window at the stars and said, we're not weapons. We're not pets. We're people. And we choose our future.